So now we will start the symposium with almost an inaugural talk by Dr. Professor CSR Prabhu, who is a versatile Indic guru, as a computer science professor, as a yoga guru, and a guru in Vedanta, guru in Upanishads. He has been very well known throughout. And Professor CSR Prabhu has done his PhD in Indic knowledge systems only. He actually applied Indic knowledge systems for what is called as a semantic search. He calls it an object knowledge model. In that form, he has done his PhD in Indic knowledge systems. He has been trained in the Guru Parampara, through Guru Parampara in yoga and Vedanta. His own grandmother was a very great spiritual person, and he got trained under her tutelage and also from other yoga gurus. So he practically knows how what is the significance of guru in yoga. He held prestigious positions with Government of India and various institutions. He retired as Director General of the National Informatics Center, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, New Delhi, and has worked with the Tata Consultancy Services, CMC, TES, Telco, now Tata Motors. He was also faculty for the programs of the APO, Asian Productivity Organizations. He has taught and researched at the University of Central Florida, Orlando, USA, and also had a brief stint as a consultant to NASA. He was chairman of the Computer Society of India, Hyderabad chapter. He worked as an advisor at Kale University, Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, and as a director of research and innovation at Kaiser Memorial Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. He received his master's degree in electrical engineering with a specialization in computer science from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. He has guided many master's and doctoral students in research areas such as big data. He has authored 16 books on wide range of topics from computer science to yoga, including the widely acclaimed book Dharma Yoga as a Common Framework for All Religions. He was conferred Doctorate of Divinity by Henry Martin Institute, Hyderabad, for the above research on Dharma Yoga. He is also the founder chairman of Vishwa Yoga Vidyapit. And for the audience, it may be interesting to know that he is one of the very few scholars who has worked on Vimana Shastra. A particular chapter on Vimana Shastra talks about a particular tool called Tamo Yantra, and Dr. Prabhu, Professor Prabhu, participated in the creation of this Tamo Yantra and experimenting it in laboratories. So those who want to research in Vimana Shastra, at least in the available manuscript portion of Vimana Shastra, usually consult Professor Prabhu because he had a hands-on experience in working on the researchable topics within Vimana Shastra. He also created a database way back when these database creations and all these things were in their nascent stage. He created a big database of Indic knowledge systems, searchable database, while he was at the National Informatics Center for Indic knowledge systems. So as a yoga guru today, he is going to talk about the importance of guru in the yoga traditions. Over to you, Professor.
नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः. Friends, I am really honored and thrilled and touched by the introduction given by Professor Nagaraj, who is known to me for a very long time from his young days. I am really thrilled that he blossomed into this level of achievement and contribution to the Indian knowledge systems, which is now receiving a lot of national and international attention. The Government of India, the UGC, in the new education policy has introduced Indic knowledge systems or Indian knowledge systems as part of the syllabi, right from the CBSE level to postgraduate and doctorate levels, and even in engineering colleges. One subject has been introduced on Indian knowledge systems. So it is high time that we revive and recover our heritage, glorious heritage in Indian knowledge systems. Yesterday, in fact, in Tirupati, I am right now speaking from Tirupati. Yesterday, there was a convocation of the Rashtriya Sanskrit University, where the Vice President came and told that there is a section of the academia for opposing the revival of India's own knowledge heritage in Sanskrit or other languages, and they may be biased with certain kind of ideology. Whereas in other countries, they will be celebrating their own heritage in all forms. So I am really honored and touched and thrilled to see INDICA organization guided by most efficient and capable Professor Nagaraj has been spearheading this thrust towards Indic knowledge systems, right, for the last maybe 5 to 10 years. And of late, I have been participating very recently. Now, I look forward to participate very intensively in these activities with this INDICA Academy. Coming to the topic of yoga and the Guru's role in it, I would put it this way. Without Guru, there is no progress or no possibility or scope of yoga. Because in yoga field, the Guru is the beginning and the end. He is everything. So, without the Guru, there is absolutely no possibility of a human being to evolve in the yogic domain or into the spiritual domain. After all, the science of yoga is defined as Jivatma Paramatma Samyoga Eva Eva. That is to realize the oneness of your own self with the universal or cosmic self, or the individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. So, Atmayandu Paramatmanu Padagaduru. This is what the Srimad Bhagavatam says, which is supposed to be a bhakti text. When the sadhaka realizes the Paramatma in his own self, in the Atma itself, that is, you realize that you are part and parcel of Paramatma, or in fact, you are Paramatma. Aham Brahmasmi. That is the final realization of the yoga path. In fact, when Patanjali talked about yoga chittavritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam pratyasarupe mitratra, he never defined what is that swarupa. So that swarupa, who am I? That he never defined, because he left it to be discovered by the experiential processes given in the yoga system. So the swarupa is defined in the Upanishads. I am Atma Brahma, one of the 4 Mahavakyas. So in the Mandukya Upanishad, so this self is Brahma. The Mandukya Upanishad clearly defines the shuttling of the states of consciousness between Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and finally Turiya, the 4th of the totality of the 3 and beyond. So that realization of the self as the the only truth, all the rest being a projection of the mind due to Maya in the relativistic frame of the Vyavaharika Satta, Pratibhasika Satta, and Paramartha Satta. As you know, when Shankaracharya reached the cave of Omkareshwar, when he met his teacher, Govinda Bhagavatpada, he asked, Govinda Bhagavatpada asked, who are you? And he answered, the 8-year-old Sarva Shastra Vedi, Sarva Veda Vedi, Adi Shankara replied was, I am Brahman, you are also Brahman. I know that you are also Brahman. So that introduction of oneself was the ultimate introduction, which qualified him to become the Jagat Guru finally, after doing the Sisharikam with his Guru Govinda Bhagavatpada. And the Advaita Siddhanta propounded by Gaudapada in the Mandukya Karika itself is established as the universal supreme doctrine by Adi Shankaracharya, with added and padding with the propositional logical rigor and formalism. So much so, no other religious or philosophical or mystical or any other type of philosophy in the world can be proven as Advaita can be by using propositional logic. In computer science, logic happens to be foundational, and George Boole was also a Sanskrit scholar who knew Indian logic, and therefore he came out with the Boolean logic and De Morgan's laws. De Morgan himself was a Sanskrit scholar. Charles Babbage, who made the first computer, was a Sanskrit scholar. So they acquired the very important ideas from Indian traditions of knowledge and then applied to modern context using mathematics. This has been happening throughout the development of Western science and technology. In the beginning, they imported almost all the knowledge ideas from India. They smuggled out the manuscripts, they smuggled out human scholars, and they developed the base, whether it is the domain of physics or chemistry. We can see the grounds of physics in Vaiseshika. You can see the grounds of chemistry in various shaastra texts and so on. And every single subject was imported and owned up, digested, as our Raju Malhotra says, digestion process, then declared as their own original. And this has been happening with yoga also. Now they claim yoga is Western, which is a very frivolous and ridiculous stance. So in the parampara of yoga, the entire yoga system is nothing but Guru Parampara. To talk of role of Guru is like talking the role of sun in the sky. Because without the sun, there is no life. So without Guru, there is no yoga parampara. So whether it is the Navanathas, Gorakhnath, Matsyendranath and others, or whether it is the Adinatha, which is Shiva himself, Adi Guru, Shiva, followed by Nandikeshwara and so on, the lineage of the Siddhas, which we teach in our courses. All these yogis, Siddhas, including Agastya and Patanjali and Dakshinamurti at one stage. We have around 22 Siddhas in the Sampradaya. So all of these people, Dattatreya, they were humans, except Shiva himself. And they were born and they left this body. The place where they left this body is known. The place where they were born and where they lived is known. So they all developed this great tradition of Yoga Shastra, Yoga Darshana for ages in various yugas. So these traditional yogic lineages, they abound. Today we have around a dozen lineages. I belong to, very surprisingly and honorably, to 3 of the known very famous lineages. I will now take the freedom to explain my personal experiences with my own gurus and how I learned yoga from my gurus who later established me as what I am today, whether it is in my official accomplishment or in the yogic domain. So, in my own life, my interaction or close encounter with yoga started with my own mother, not grandmother, my own mother. My grandmother passed away long back. My grandfather was a great Vedic scholar in a village called Kullur near Tenali. But my mother, I was born in the 1950s. My mother taught me yoga because she herself learned yoga from two sources. One is the naturopathy system, and the other is the spiritual higher yoga system. So the higher yoga system was from one Sachidananda Ashramam Guru, Lady Guru, Ammagaru, they used to say, Secunderabad. Right now there is a Jnana Saraswati temple opposite to Gandhi Hospital. Same building was previously known as Sachidananda Ashramam, where one Lady Guru, who was a great yogini, who was into Lambika Yogam, that is, her tongue will go upside and will rest in the palate holes and she will get amrutam. She doesn't require food. She used to be in samadhi and come out and sing songs. She was illiterate by formal education, but whatever song she sang or whatever lecture she gave were at the level of Upanishads, if not higher. Just to quote one of those songs, I will sing in Telugu her song. Inta kantanu vinta galada. Inta kantanu vinta galada. Tane brahmambadu tattvamunu marichi. Ratiki mokkedari inta kantanu vinta galada. Tane brahmambadu tattvamunu marichi. Ratiki mokkedari inta kantanu vinta galada. For those who don't understand Telugu, can there be a greater wonder than this? That forgetting that you are Brahman, you worship a stone. So there can there be a greater wonder than this? So these are the level kind of songs which she used to sing. And she used to experience out of the Samadhi state and sing these songs and give lectures. And there were visitors to that ashram right from the Shankaracharya to Guttikonda Gulam Yogi, Guttikonda Bilam. There is a cave in Guttikonda where one yogi is to there. Very famous. I'm talking of early 60s. So my mother was a disciple. She also practiced higher yoga. And she didn't teach me higher yoga, but she taught me basic yoga, the asanas. Then it so happened that I lived in a place which is right next to Ramakrishna Mat in Secunderabad. Ramakrishna Mat, which you see today in Hyderabad, is in opposite Indira Park. It's a recent development. It is in 80s it was established. But in 60s or 50s, it used to be behind Mehboob College High School, the Market Street Clock Tower, Aladdin Clock Tower Road, which is behind the passport office right now. So where right now the building is being used by Department of Ayush. Previously there used to be one Pranayama Research Institute with Sudarshan Aachaarya ji as its head. So in that building, Ramakrishna Mat used to operate. Why Ramakrishna Mat was established there is because Swami Vivekananda actually came to the school, Mehboob College High School, where I studied. And he gave a lecture in 1898 before going to Chicago. And that lecture was presided by Sikandar Jha. Sikandar Jha is the family member of Nizams, who was heading that area, which is later named as Secunderabad. So Vivekananda gave that lecture in the same hall. By providence, around 100 years later, I studied Sanskrit language, Panini Ashtadhyayi, in the very same hall where Swami Vivekananda gave a lecture in Mehboob College High School in Patni Center. Now it is known as SVIT, Swami Vivekananda Institute. So at the age of 12, I read complete works of Swami Shivananda Vivekananda. Therefore, Vivekananda is my first guru, so to say, in theory. But in practice, it was my mother who was my first guru. She taught me asanas. Then in that Ramakrishna Mat, which was headed by Swami Ranganathananda, At that time, he was located there. He was head of the entire global Ramakrishna Math order later. And in that Ramakrishna Math Secunderabad, where Swami Raghurananda and Anandananda used to be there, we used to have our Guruji Suri Raghav Dikshitru, Yoga Aachaarya, coming every day from Sitapal Mandi and teaching from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. And I used to attend it very religiously. I had two strong motivations. One is a negative motivation, other is a positive. Positive motivation was from my mother, who taught me yoga and made sure that I accept yoga as major part of my life. And my Guruji, who was giving the positive motivation, when negative motivation was my own father's death. He died out of some ill health, and I was so disgusted to realize that people die out of ill health at rather early ages. Like 64, he died. And our Guruji Dikshitulu used to say, without yoga, there cannot be health. Perfect health. Perfect health means not going to doctors and taking medicines and all that. No medicine, no doctor, and perfect health. And that can be achieved through Hatha Yoga. And that is what he was teaching. So basically, he used to teach what are called Shat Kriyas, the 6 Kriyas of cleaning the nose, cleaning the stomach, cleaning the intestines, Shanka Prakshalana, as a unique item of yoga teaching. Most of the yoga teachers, including B.K. Iyengar, Krishnamacharya, and others whom I respect a lot, they don't teach the Shat Kriyas. As a result, the yoga system, the Hatha Yoga system is being taught, remains incomplete, focusing only on the asanas mostly and a little of pranayama. Whereas the Ashtangas are left out and the Kriyas are left out. So Shatkarma Nirgata Sthaulya Kafadosha Maladikaha Pranayamam Tatak Kurya Tanaya Senladhyate Pranayamena Yuktena Sarvaroga Kshayo Bhave Pranayamena Yuktena Sarvaroga Samudbhava. So with the cleansing of the Shatkarmas, Shatkarma Nirgata Sthaulya, the gross Kafadosha Maladikaha, the impurities and doshas are removed gross form. Then pranayama will reach success. Pranayama doesn't mean just doing some light pranayama as what people do today. But there it was a very intensive process. And after about, I reached 17 years, I started learning yoga from age of 8, from my mother, and from the age of 10, from Dikshitulu Garu. And after reaching around 17 years, that is around 10 years later, by then I was a yoga teacher, developed as a yoga teacher by Sri Dikshitulu to replace him. He had the same Bharadwaj Gotra which I had. He belonged to the Suri family of Bharadwaj Gotra. I belonged to the Chivukula family of Bharadwaj Gotra. He loved me like his own sons, more than his sons possibly. And he took me to Bihar School of Yoga, Mongir in 1972. That is the second lineage which I belong to. Because through Dikshitruju I belong to 2 lineages. One is the Bihar School of Yoga, another is Dhyan Brahmachari, Maharshi Kartikeya lineage, to which he belonged to. He learned from Dhyan Brahmachari in person in Akola in Maharashtra in 1950s. And then he was declared as a Yoga Aachaarya. Then he started teaching in 1960s. When he retired at the age of 60, then railways. And for 40 years he contributed to the field of yoga in a very big way by establishing around 100 and odd yoga centers in the states of Telangana, Andhra, and Maharashtra. So I used to be his right hand. Wherever he goes, he used to engage me as a teacher, then go away from there. This happened in Secunderabad Ramakrishna Math, then at Ashok Nagar, same thing happened. So everywhere, there were only 3 yoga teachers in Twin Cities those days. One is Dikshitulu Garu, my teacher, and second is myself. And third is one Yashwant Sinha, who is also a close friend. So when Yashwant Sinha was not available, only we two were there. And I was yoga teacher of various personalities, including ministers like Joe Chokorao, and of course recently Chief Secretary of Telangana State, Somesh Kumar or Prem Chandra Reddy, and so many IAS officers. So I had the privilege of teaching yoga to over 1 lakh people all over the world. And my Guruji Dikshitulu had the great privilege of teaching yoga to more than 15 lakh people in the 3 states of Telangana, Andhra, and Maharashtra. And he was like more than my life. Yoga expert and yoga teacher next to succeed him in the domain of yoga teaching. But it also helped me tremendously in my career. And I topped JNTU, BTech, and I topped even SSC in Secunderabad, entire city. Then I went to IIT Bombay. And I was only one person who could join an IIT Bombay or any IIT in 1976 from Hyderabad, Secunderabad, who has studied computer science. Nobody else is there. So that way I achieved a lot of things because of yoga and its Krupa, Guru Krupa, we should say. It was like molding my personality and life beyond yoga too, helping me in various crisis situations because my father died and I was in a deep crisis. So that way, the Guru's role was not just the yoga field itself, which of course it was there, but it is molding the life itself in terms of your needs, your crisis, your solutions, your progress, and so on. Then the greatest contribution he made was to introduce me to the next guru, the next level of yoga, which is Swami Silananda Bharati, who is number 3 in the lineage of the Dhuniwala Samsthan at Khandwa in Madhya Pradesh. Khandwa is beyond Omkareshwar, which is beyond Ujjain, the Narmada river banks, and he belongs to the lineage of the classmate of Aachaarya of the Omkareshwar cave. So Swami Silananda Bharati was originally a prince of one of the kingdoms in Gujarat, but his uncle was king of Pavagadh, and they both became monks uh, under the influence of Bade Dhuniwala Maharaj, who was Avadhuta and Siddha. He changed his body 6 times as Parakaya Pravesha. And he is known as the avatar of Lord Shiva, whose Jyotirlinga is there in Ujjain and also Omkareshwar and Bhavach. So Badaniwala is very famous, and in 1920s, he was like a supreme guru of those days. And all the other gurus, including Sai Baba or including Maharishi Kartikeya, they used to go there and live there in the ashram. And he had tremendous siddhis. And in his life history, shown how he shifted from one body to the other, from one contingency requirement to another. Like Adi Shankara shifted his body, when he went into the king's body to learn amorous sciences to answer Ubhay Bharati's questions in the debate with Mandal Mishra, and came back to his original body. So here, in the case of Bade Dhuniwala, the strangest thing that happened was the last time he left the body, 6th time or 7th time, nobody believed that he died. Even the police and the government were not willing to accept. So the legend goes to say that he physically appeared to the police in the police station, to the police chief, and told, "I left the body and the body is there in so and so place. You go and do the needful." So till that was told to the police chief, they didn't believe. And the samadhi of Bade Dhuniwala is there in Khandwa, and his next in lineage is Chote Dhuniwala. Also there, samadhi is there, and my teacher, Swami Silananda Bharati, is the 3rd in lineage. But he preferred to leave all that establishment and live an anonymous life. Here and there, he was in Hyderabad for a long time, and he used to tell that even to construct an ashram is an act of materialism and is against the principle of sannyas. So he had only 2 positions with him. One is the clothes on his body, and other are the clothes which are drying on the dryer outside. So these are the only 2 positions he had. He never carried money, he never carried any objects, as a principle of true sannyas. And he had yogic powers. He could read my mind and answer my questions before I asked them. And he was all knower of all subjects in addition to yoga because of the siddhis he had. And I saw in front of me how he used to give just as water dipped with his finger to people who are screaming out of pain, either out of some scorpion bite or a stomachache and so on. In no time they are set right and they are sent back. So I learned higher pranayama from him, and that higher pranayama was meant for Kundalini and Samadhi purpose. So it is unique system which he taught to me and maybe a few others. So through higher pranayama of various levels of kumbhakas, it is possible to reach Samadhi state. This is mentioned in the Yogatara text also of Adi Shankara. Sare chapure ranilasya kumbhai sarvasunadi subishoditas anahata damburhadudeti swatma vagamya swayameva bodha. The stages involved in it are kampanam, svedanam, param, utthanam. That is levitation also, and kampanam is on various chakras, and finally leading to yavat kevala tavat sahita. That is until the keval kumbhaka comes, sahita kumbhaka has to be practiced. Sahita means with effort you control your kumbhaka, whereas kevala is automatically it happens. And when it happens, already you get into samadhi state. Actually, I was just entering that state, and he told me to go and take sannyas, which is a compulsory requirement for samadhi. Samadhi, in their terms, is actual burying underground for many days. He himself was buried for 22 days and came back after that. And I saw in front of me his classmate buried for 3 days, even in Hyderabad, Kishan Bagh, Devi Bagh, near Zoo Park. And so for that purpose, sannyas is compulsory. So when he told you take sannyas immediately, then my mother got very upset. So she went and made a case with Ikshitaluji, who went and conveyed to Swamiji that it is not feasible to take sannyas because there is no other child, and to protect the lineage of the family, she will not permit me to take sannyas, though she knows the subject herself. So that way I had to leave. Then Chordo Bete, he said, I left everything. So I had my own extraordinary experiences in the process of Svedana, Kampana, Utthana, and various other special perception powers at that point of time. And gradually I left that intense pranayama practice, and I was teaching only ordinary pranayama and ordinary yoga all these years. And I taught yoga in the USA, and I went to various countries like Germany, where I taught yoga, and Switzerland, France, Japan. And in India, of course, I've been teaching yoga in Twin Cities as well as in Pune, Delhi, Bangalore, all kinds of places. The personalities who learned yoga from me are very famous. There are many IAS officers, CEOs. CEO of Imani is my Sudhakar Desha, is my close student. And CEO of Shakti Group, Srinivas Sirgiri in Bombay. I conducted a yoga camp in Hiranandani Gardens opposite to IIT Powai. I studied in IIT Powai, MTech, during which I conducted yoga classes. Those who learned from me at that time are still practicing. Throughout life, they are ensured of perfect health. Vapuk Krishatvam, Padane Prasannata, Nadasputatvam, Nayane Sunirmale, Arogata, Bindujayo, Agni Deepanam, Nadi Vishuddhir, Hatha Yoga Lakshanam. Apart from this, higher yoga, very few, if at all, went into it. So I'm really thrilled to say that my two major gurus in yoga, one is Dikshitlu, who molded my basic yoga personality as well as my basic life, career, education, and Swami Silananda Bharti, who molded my higher yoga, leading to Rajogic experiences. And my mother, who was my first guru, and again she became the last guru, because she was entering herself Samadhi state sometimes, and she was herself explaining the Advaita experiences at the last stages, even after my second guru passed away in the early 90s. So my mother was able to experience Advaita state, oneness with all others. And she used to instruct me on that. In fact, you'll be amazed that the last instruction she gave is that don't ever deviate from your identity with Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. If you deviate, you are trapped. You will be falling into the trap of Maya, and you will be getting into various situations, including rebirth. So don't ever do that. You be established in the state of Brahmi consciousness. This is her last instruction to me, after which she went into coma. I was out of station. By the time I came back, she passed away in 4 days in coma. I came when she was in coma. And even at the time of passing away, she opened her eyes after being in coma for 4 days without eyes opening. And as the Magha Masa, the good, best period entered, at 4 o'clock in the morning, she opened her eyes and she left through her eyes. So these are the experiences I have with my gurus, my mother herself. My father died long back in my early childhood. My guru Dikshitaluji, Hatha Yoga, and Swami Sinan Bharti in Raj Yoga. Again, my mother in Jnana Yoga. Of course, I have 2 other gurus. One is for the Vedas. I learned the Vedas from Kuppa Venkatachala Swamiji, who is the elder grandfather of the present Sringeri Shankaracharya, Vijayashekhar Saraswati. I learned Veda from him to some extent. And I also had another person from whom I learned Mantra Shastra. And I also had another person from whom I learned how to do Karma Yoga, how to service, deliver social service. He is the founder of the Ashok Nagar Welfare Association. So his name was Venkatramaya, Kalvakalan Venkatramaya. So I learned various things from various people. And I learned also music, classical music, and I had the gurus there. Nori Nagamushnam, I learned violin. So the role of guru in yoga is the beginning and the end. Because only under the guru's control and his guru's kripa that anything can happen to you. You can learn, progress, or achieve, or reach certain levels. So in the yoga, the purpose is to reach self-realization, and self-realization is nothing but God realization. With this, I think I will stop here. I appreciate and thank, and I'm very grateful to Nagaraj and also the organization INDICA. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. That was actually a testimonial offering to Guru from anecdotal, personal, biographical experience sharing. And that's what actually we do. The grateful to Gurus. You have expressed your gratefulness to your Gurus, and the Guru's role not just in leading you in yoga, but also in your personal life. And you were fortunate to meet such great gurus in the remote corners near Omkareshwar and all that. It is not possible for ordinary people. You were so lucky to meet them, and we are also fortunate to know from you that there is a possibility to meet such great gurus. Thank you very much, sir.